All right, everybody, we have Josh Lopez here. He's ready to rock for us, a new startup savage, ready to tell his story. He's an entrepreneur, salesman, been in the game for a minute, has a great key perspective on where he's coming from. I want to get into it with who Josh is, what his business is, and we're going to dive into those struggles on the startup. So, Josh, I'll let you take it away.
Awesome. Thanks, Nick. So my name is Joshua Lopez. I'm located in North Carolina. I'm opening up the first sugar in the state of North Carolina in Charlotte. My goal is to open up a few of these down the road, but the first one's going to be successful, so I'll let the chips fall where they may. So what is sugar? Sugar is we do spray tans, we do facials, we do sugaring, which is hair removal. Some of you may be familiar with waxing. Sugaring is a superior alternative. So through that, hair removal, eyebrow shaping, things along those lines. And we also sell products. So everything is proprietary. We control the ingredients. A lot of the places where you may go to, they don't have control over it. We have 100% control over it. And like I mentioned, it's all organic, vegan, cruelty-free. Who doesn't love that, especially in a world where we emphasize a lot on health and the stuff that we consume. So what you put on your skin is just as important as what you put on your body. So that's why I love sugar. I'm excited to introduce North Carolina, specifically Charlotte, first.
I'm excited for you. I know that's a new concept that a lot of people are taking to, and I hope that if you're in North Carolina, you go check it out. Now a little bit about, yourself, Josh. Obviously, you didn't just come out, an entrepreneur out of the start. You probably went through some struggles. You had some issues here and there. I want to hear about why you decided to become an entrepreneur and, who believed you from the start.
Why I started, say, I've been ambitious my whole life, and I owe that to my parents and what they instilled in me at a young age. And I just constantly aim to do better than the previous day. So every night I said to myself, what could I do better? And at one point, it was before my daughter was born, I was just thinking, life can't be, I forgot, I saw something, but essentially, it was an eye opener just saying, 24 hours in a day, 8 hours you spend sleeping, 8 hours you spend working, at least, and then sprinkle in getting ready, commuting, cooking dinner. So if you look at it, at the end of the day, all you have is a few hours. And
Yeah.
it's just, it didn't sit well with me. The term that I use is escaping the matrix. 70, I think 72, and correct me if I'm wrong, is the retirement age. And that's where, you collect your benefits. If you leave, it's just the setup is a little wild, at least from my perspective, because essentially how it's designed is you work your whole life and then you get to enjoy a little bit of it. On my ends, I feel like life should be enjoyed. You should go out. If you want to go take that vacation, take the vacation. Because to me, time is one of the most valuable things that we have that we can never get back. And especially being a father now, my daughter's 4 years old, and just looking at her getting older and all that, I want to buy that time back. Something just snapped in my head. I'm just like, something needs to be done. And I landed on entrepreneurship because this gives people the ability to do just that. Depending on what your goals are. Me, I wanted financial freedom where I can spend more time with family, where I don't have to think about, of course, regardless of where you are, you should always budget. But, you don't always have to question, oh, I already did this, I can't do that, or make, or compromise. So that's the life that I want, and to this conversation.
I know it's not an easy one, and that road to greatness is it's lonely, right? Let's be honest. Not everybody believes in you. So it sounds like you had, your parents were kind of pushing you. Were they holding you to a high standard, or why do you say you give credit to your parents? Let's dive into a little bit about who Josh is.
Yeah, let's crack the shell.
Yeah.
So for context, so first generation. So my mother grew up in Dominican Republic, and coming here. So I came here. My first language was Spanish, and then coming here just shifted, and it would just become learning English and all that, and just like, I guess the focus there, and then hearing her struggles. I'm not gonna dive into that. I'll let her tell her story if and when she's ready.
Yeah.
But just with my mother and my father and all that. It's just they were already ambitious people. They worked hard. They did what they could to create a life for myself and pave the way and show me, how to be, a father, how to be a good person, become well-rounded. And one thing that comes to mind too is my dad. I forgot. It could have been in high school or junior high school. I think it was junior high school, where he said, put on the suit. Let's go to the mall. And I was way too young. He knew damn well no one was going to hire me. but growing up, I understood now. It was, so for context, I printed out, I don't even, probably hundreds of resumes, and I went door to door interviewing, asking, hey, are you hiring? And then speaking with the hiring manager or the manager, whoever was available, and knowing that, they weren't going to hire me, but it was just to get me comfortable, get me outside of my comfort zone. So stuff like that and those lessons throughout my life that both my parents have taught me made me the man that I am today. The why I'm always ambitious, I'm very analytical. I always try to improve things and tweak and just better myself so I could be that for my daughter as my parents did for me. So just pretty much to pay it forward and just spread positivity. So that's why I owe it to them, because they're such hard workers. They've gone through their ups and downs, but they're still right. They're incredibly successful, and I wish to reach at least half of their success. So that's why I'm here today.
Awesome. I didn't even know your first language was Spanish. You got some great dialect, great language, and awesome parents. I love to hear when the parents are really bringing up the children with that kind of a mindset, a more mature, a more, well educated, but also business savvy, professional style. Dude, that's amazing to hear, man, because many of us understand. I mean, there's even the whole immigrant mindset where it's you go through so much, whatever we think we're going through, we didn't have to cross waters, we didn't have to travel 15,000 miles away from home. So cheers to your parents, and no matter their struggles, man, it was always worth it. You're making them proud, man. I could see that.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
So that's great to hear, brother. Now on the flip side of that, let's talk about some haters, man. There's always people kind of going against us. Maybe it's even yourself. Who is in that realm of negativity when you or now currently even as you progress?
I say, and a lot of people may relate, I would say myself, I think we are our worst critics. I'm a firm believer as we are the reason why, we don't attain the level of the extent of a success that we wish. The reason for that is fear. I think fear is a big thing. Fear, a lot of people don't like change. Especially if it's something new, you're jumping into entrepreneurship or anything that costs money, you're like, hey, it's easy to just stay in your comfort zone. And then you're always the first one. So as soon as an opportunity arises in your head, it's like, you can't do this. Are you even qualified? I know, what's it called? The imposter, is it
Imposter syndrome.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I feel like I owe a lot of my success to that, because I'm always thinking am I doing a good job at the end of the day and stuff like that. So stuff like that naturally occurs in our mind. I think is the reason why we are our number one, source of negative energy. And through time, and even just reflecting, I'm not sure at what stage in my life, but there was one point where I just snapped, and I analyzed my thought process, the people I surrounded myself with, and things got to change. So I had to change things within me. I had to become more positive. Life is hard. Why see it through a negative mindset? Because it's only going to make it harder. You're only going to put more pressure on yourself, and that doesn't help. And especially if you're negative, everyone that you interact with, you spread that negativity. That's cancerous. And throughout the years, I've created my thought process is I only want to be surrounded with people who are like-minded, people who are positive. I don't want any negative energy. I don't want people saying, oh, you can't do this and that. No, let results show me. Let results. I want facts. I don't think your opinion, whatever you think of me, no. So all those people are gone in my life, and I haven't, to this fast forwarding to now, I created I guess a life where those people don't exist. So, and a life where I'm no longer, that vein of negativity. Because if I was that same person, I probably wouldn't even be on this call right now. You and I wouldn't have met. I wouldn't have thought about entrepreneurship. I would have been content. Yeah, let me work my 9 to 5. Let me stay out of trouble and just work till I'm dead, essentially. But no, that Josh is dead. I'm on the next chapter.
Yes. He's going savage mode, baby. He's going savage mode. Yeah. That's awesome. I love your feedback when it comes to haters, because it's one I think we all resonate with ourselves. We can be the biggest haters. And like you said, imposter syndrome. It's funny because it's like the fourth time I've heard that in the last 2 weeks, which something that I think maybe we can help people get through. Many of us, even myself, I didn't even realize what it was or what it is, but a lot of people I'm talking to are kind of resonating with that. So that's something we can help each other with in the community, man. So definitely. Love to hear it. Love to hear that you're getting the negativity out, because the next thing coming is technical difficulties we're going through. Plus, I just got out of the gym, so if you see me sweating
There
or
you go.
to the side for a little towel action, it was a good workout, a lot of kickboxing. Awesome, man. So we're just picking up where we're talking about you went from a little bit of your background, and now we're getting into the struggles you've gone through to get to where you are now. Dove into a little bit about who you are, what the business is, and just tap into a few struggles that really come to mind that has helped you go from especially being, salesperson, W-2, working for a company to now entrepreneur.
I would say overall job experience, anyone who wants to pursue entrepreneurship, you don't need to know someone in business. You don't need to have a background in it. You just got to dive in. And essentially that's what I did. And I tapped into all the skills that I've acquired throughout the years, working for people, me specifically, terrible bosses, from just terrible situations, overall, because, I'm the type of person, I don't have regret. I'm grateful for all those struggles because had those not happened, I wouldn't be able to challenge myself or grow or show any growth. So because of that, having bad bosses and all that, I now know how to be a great boss and what it takes to be a leader. So I just tap into all my experience and then just dove into entrepreneurship and the specific struggles I faced, jumping in that I think a lot of people will face is it's just all new. We talked on it earlier. It's just diving in and then seeing numbers. If you want to start a business, it's gonna require capital, and where you're gonna find this and getting all that. It's very stressful. So I think the biggest struggle thus far has been stress management. Because you don't want to take that home, regardless of entrepreneurship or not. If you are working and you're stressed, don't take it home with you. Leave it at the door. Going back to that whole cancerous thing too. So the stress management too, I don't want to take it home and, share it with my wife or and all that. Home should be a sanctuary, and I do what I can to maintain that. But it's been stressful. This is all new to me, diving in, working with the SBA, all the requirements, all the hoops you got to jump through, documents that I never knew existed. It's been a wild ride, but you know what? Now when it comes to location 2 and 3 and whatever I want to pursue down the road, I'm equipped with that. So that's why I say just dive in. You don't need any experience. You can just tap into the experience that you have, and platforms like this. Nick, this is great because you could see what people, of course you want to be surrounded with like-minded individuals, but if you don't have that around you, you have access. Technology is wonderful. You could just tune in and see, what the thought process is. And if you're experiencing something similar, how did this person handle it? And utilize that and incorporate it the best you can to, address your own challenges. So I think stress, to go back to your question, stress, and that's pretty much it. And one important thing that I've learned from this whole experience is stress what you can control. If it's stuff that, there's documents that other construction that needs to provide or some other thing, just wait. It all works out. Just be patient. Don't look at the clock or I don't have this and that. And, a lot of people like to be in control. With entrepreneurship, you got to give up some of that control. And if you stress about everything, you're just going to drive yourself crazy. And I started to drive myself a little, I don't want to say crazy in the beginning, but it was just, it was getting overwhelming. So just stress what you can control. If it's stuff that if you have specific action items, worry about those action items. Of course, keep track of overall progress, but don't feel like, hey, I haven't heard back from this person, this and that. To an extent, communication. But anyone listening in, you'll learn that as you progress in any situation.
Awesome. Love to hear it, man, because that's some real problems right there. It's something that I think all of us can understand and vibe with. So stress is a big struggle. So on top of that, one of my questions, that always comes to my mind, which is one of the reasons I started this and one of the reasons I love learning about this from entrepreneurs and ancients and warriors and all these, is when they're faced with great challenges, how the hell did you not give up on yourself? Tell us.
Kept the eye on the prize. So going back to the, people, especially myself, you're going to have moments where you're just so overwhelmed. No matter how well you prepared, you're still going to get into your own head. Going back to that imposter syndrome or, us being the main source of negativity, it's always somewhere. You want to get rid of it, but, it's somewhere rooted, deep rooted somewhere within you, and it pops out in the most inconvenient times. But you got to know how to handle that. And it's just
You probably got a rush of emotion, man. It's a lot to
Yeah.
take
Oh,
on, you
I
know.
got the flashback.
The flashbacks, yep. It
Yeah.
hits. I
Yeah, so
saw it.
I just kept my eye on the prize. So that's what I did. Going back to the imposter syndrome and us being our worst critics and negative stuff like that is deep, like it's inside you. But you got to remind yourself, why am I here? And you can't drive yourself crazy stressing. It's easy to get discouraged. It's very fragile. Just taking the leap of faith. I want to pursue entrepreneurship. You're very fragile. If people say, "Hey, you sure you want to do that?" Then you start questioning that if you aren't already. But you got to remember, why am I here? Why are we having this conversation? For me personally, it's financial freedom. I want, going back to the whole thing, time is the most valuable thing that exists that we can never get back. So I want to get that time. I don't want to lose the time. So anytime I feel that I'm getting discouraged or overly stressed, I remember, Josh, why the hell are you doing this? And then I remember my daughter's face and my wife's face and the things and just like things that I want and the dream and I'm a firm believer in manifestation, or even just hold on to, what does life look like? At the end of it all, what does it look like? Hold on to that, because that's going to keep you pushing and that's going to keep you motivated, because if you don't hold on to that and if you lose yourself, then it's easy to get lost in the process because it will consume you. So just remember why you're doing it and the rest will be fine. But hold on to that tightly and don't let anyone come between you and your goals.
Boom. That's it right there. That's massive. That mindset is what I'm talking about. I got visions of my favorite movie, The Gladiator. As he's going along the whole process of conquering his one mission, right? He's getting stabbed. He's slowly bleeding out. He's literally like dying, and he's like envisioning his children and his wife, and that's like what blinks him back into like reality to keep going. And that's what I'm seeing when you're talking about it, man. So that's beautiful. It's amazing motivation. I love that. Great family man, great father, and man, that's just some fuel right there. That's good. That's some tears right there behind the eyes. I saw it in your face when you were like, man, how'd you not give up? And it's
That's
overwhelming
the
sometimes
passion,
when you just
man.
think
It's
about it, right?
Man, yeah, it's you just got to tap into that, and you just got to harness it the right way, because, like I
Yeah.
said, it's easy to be consumed, but whoever's watching, you'll be fine. I went through it. Of course, every situation's different, but just got to power through.
Awesome. That's what I'm talking about, man. Savage mindset is to not give up. So on the flip side of that, man, now we're building, now we're getting big, we're getting stronger, like spiritually, mentally, physically, right? And do you feel stronger after facing those issues, overcoming these things? Do you feel stronger mentally, physically? Like, are you starting to like have more belief in yourself? Let's tap into that.
I feel I have the patience of a saint. Put me on a stained glass somewhere. I definitely feel stronger. You get tested, and no matter what you do, you're faced with challenges. You have to deal with, different personalities, different things that you're not even familiar with that you have to learn. And once you learn it, just the knowledge is power. You become stronger. Going back to what you said mentally. So going on, when I want to expand to additional locations or pursue other things in addition to that, I already know I'm equipped for it because I went through it. And a good thing too that I wanted to mention earlier is, it's easy to focus on the end goal and like, it's been a year. Why am I not here? This and that. Don't do that to yourself. What you got to do is focus on the little steps, because if you look at the little steps that you took to get to the point where you are now, you've climbed mountains. You've done a lot. So those little steps, you got to remind yourself of it. You can't just think, hey, I started a year ago. Why am I not here? Don't do that. Don't discredit all your hard work, blood, sweat, and tears that you did day in and through and day out that got you to this point. So keep going. And there was a quote, what is it? The top of one mountain is the bottom of another. So keep climbing. So that's what you just got to do.
Hey, that's awesome. That right there is inspiring me, Josh. Shit, man, let's flip the script. Gotta have you on stage here soon, brother. I love that. And you know what? I think who really benefits from that, and one of my questions is, how did your family respond and react to your triumph? Are you noticing them, seeing what you're going through and understanding what you're going through?
Naturally, family, so they're very supportive. Naturally, when, you present a big idea, especially with the risk, it's the questions pop up. Are you sure you want to do this? Do you know everything about it? And that's where you gotta separate the noise, I want to call it. Of course, your family and friends, they hopefully they have your best interest. When they say stuff like that, just like, have you thought about this? And you should think about those questions. but don't let it discourage you. And yeah, my family's been supportive. You know, when I mentioned stuff, you know, I'm not sure about that or it's new. But there was, what was it? I'm just thinking of Steve Harvey. He was like, don't share your dreams. You know, this might apply to some people or all. Don't share your dreams with family because, you know, the vision was shown to you, not to your friends and family. So they might not know, they might not
Yep.
have that foundation or that, you know, that desire for it. So that fear might consume them for you on your behalf and just say, hey, you know, I wouldn't do that. And they might say things that reflect that. So take it with a grain of salt. You know, of course, you know, some questions, you know, if you haven't thought about it, incorporate it and see, you know, depending what the question is, get those answers. But yeah, even if your family is not supportive, you know, fortunately my family was, but I'm sure there's people out there whose family, you know, they may not even have anyone available that they could bounce ideas. It's just them, or you know, they might present it to friends and family, and it's just negative. So don't let people, anyone, don't even let yourself. When you look at yourself in the mirror, you should be proud of who you are and how far you've come. And this also reminds me of I think it could have been a Denzel Washington speech somewhere, it could originate from anywhere, but essentially the thing is when you're on your deathbed and you're surrounded by the ghost of everything you could have become, and essentially you're taking them in the grave with you. And the whole message is, why are you dying with your dreams and your hopes? You know, life is too short. You know, if you have an idea, that idea popped in your head, act on it. See if it's right. Or maybe, you know, once you act on it and you fail, you know, and I think this is also from Denzel, you know, fall forward. You know, you learn as you go. Don't stop or get discouraged because at the end of the day, when you look back in life, and I'm sure, you know, I do it sometimes for certain things. I'm sure other people do too. You're like, what if I did something differently? So if you want to pursue entrepreneurship and you don't pursue it years later, and then you see the success of other people, or you speak with someone who had the same fears that you had, but you know, push that noise to the side and acted on it, and they became successful. End of the day, you're gonna ask yourself, what if I pursued those dreams? What if I didn't listen to myself, those negative thoughts? What if I didn't listen to negative people? And then you're going to live with regret. So don't live with regret. Act. Just act on it. But going back to your question, yeah, my family's been supportive. I've been fortunate with that. And, you know, bouncing ideas and having that avenue too has been very helpful, especially with stress management.
I see it, man. I love the passion. All right, a couple of my last few questions are key. One is, what would you tell your young self? Young Josh, 18, just graduated. He's out there full of piss and vinegar and just ready to take on the world, right? What would you say to him?
I wouldn't change anything. I'm a firm believer of, you know, you need to make mistakes to get where you are. You know, had I not made mistakes in my life, who knows how my life would have turned out. So if I had the opportunity to go back in time, you know, outside of giving myself some winning lotto numbers, I wouldn't tell myself to do anything differently. I wouldn't say, hey, you know, when this happens, do this. No, because you essentially rob yourself of learning and knowledge and growth. So I wouldn't do that. I would just, you know, going back to the question, if I had an opportunity to speak with a younger version of myself, continue being you. Don't let anyone change you. That would be the only thing that I would say.
Hey, that's some raw material right there. The unique one. I haven't heard that one really, to be honest with you. I love it, man. Okay, and then last two, what's one random question? I'm going to put you on the spot. What's one random question that you have for me? Throw it out there.
What motivates you? You know, why do you wake up each day where, you know, I've had the pleasure of meeting you and you're a very passionate person. Like, what motivates you? Because I'm sure you know, you've encountered hurdles and negativity, your own, all the external, internal, but you still smile. You still have a great personality. You still on a mission to spread positivity and help people and spread awareness. So what's that drive? What keeps you waking up smiling and ready to take on the day?
Hey, man, I love the question. It's one I love to learn. That's where you really get to know people. I'll keep it short. I think it derives just from, you know, and obviously, if you want to hear more about Josh's story and my story, I'll have some links for us. But coming from my background, I was just always motivated to succeed. I hate to lose. A strong sport background, athletics, but also coming from, like, you know, not having a lot, like literally nothing. I remember just watching, you know, my mom struggle trying to pay the bill when we went out to eat. You know, that was something that was, it was motivating me internally as a child, right? Like, you see that stuff. And so for me, it's just never giving up, like never giving up, and no matter what you do. So life is short, we're, becoming grateful, the more I pray, the more my faith becomes a part of me. And the more I've had near-death experiences, the more it's like, hey, I'm just thankful to be alive. Let's win together, right? I've always been, the youngest brother of 3 older. So I've always been like a team player. So it's like, hey, I don't just want to win. I want everybody to win. If you're on my team, let's win. Let's go after this. Let's do this. And so that's kind of why I love to build this community. What inspires me is I love to see people succeed and win. And it's like, hey, Josh is killing it over here. Maybe, Chuck might need this kind of motivation, or Kelly could use this kind of like mindset because she's going through it right now, And so I like to see people succeed, man. So that's where it's like even right now, I didn't even tell you, but on the way to drop my boy off at school, my tire blew. I had to change my tire. It's 100. I'm dripping sweat. Oh, wow. Like that's also why I'm sweating. Like all these things happen on a daily basis,
smiling,
dude. It's partly why I got to go into the gym, hit the workout. You got to work out that negative energy. You know what I'm saying? I was hitting the bag for a while, and I got here, and just seeing people like yourself and just doing these things that we say we're going to do and accomplishing them. Those little wins, man. Those little wins add up. So that's one of the things I love to see you guys doing. As you hit these little walls, especially as it's being built in construction. We need each other to kind of help get over those hurdles. Hey man, you can do it. Like one little text message like that could help. And that's what I love, building the community of each of us just saying that to each other. You never know when someone needs that. So trying to bring my A game every time and just, long story short, it's a good question.
No, but
I was not expecting that. Appreciate you throwing it back at me, my man. Like you said, it's like when you get those questions and it all hits you, you kind of go blank for a second. All right, what is it? Last question. So what does it mean to be a startup savage to you?
I'd say 2 things. Sense of community, you touched that earlier. You want to be, amongst your fellow savages. Everyone is going through at different stages of their life, different stage of entrepreneurship, but we got to hold each other up. And then in order to do that, going to the second point, being a savage, listen, you got to remind yourself, why are you doing this? And you just got to fight through. And then through that, everyone has scars. So I think being a savage, you're a warrior within yourself. You overcame negativity. You overcame whatever life in the universe, whatever you believe in, thrown at you. You still came out strong. Stronger. Not strong, stronger. And because of that and all the scars and all the lessons that you've learned and the tests and the patience and all that, you could share with your brothers and sisters, in this community too. And that's where it goes to, holding each other up. So becoming a savage is you just got to fight through, push through, add that extra rep, add on that extra 10, 15 pounds. You think, you know what, you think you know what failure is? You don't know what failure is. In your mind, you might think, I only got 1 more left. You might have 20 more. Don't bring that mindset. You got to fight through. And once you fight that, and of course, no one defeats life. No one, like I said, everyone's at different stages, but you get stronger each time. Okay, today, 15, 20 more reps. Okay, here I got 15 new challenges that I've never had experience with, but I overcame them. Those are your reps. You know what? Throw 1 more. I got it. And you can take on that weight and take on that pressure, and then you become stronger. You become more well-rounded, and then sharing that with the fellow savages too makes them stronger, and it may even make you stronger too, because that open dialogue, you get to see. You only know what you know. I only know through my perspective because I've only lived life through my eyes. So, but someone else, something different. So there could be 2 similar situations handled completely differently. And, having that open dialogue with the savages and even anyone outside, just having an open conversation, you can incorporate that and grow just through conversation. So that's what it means to me, a sense of community and just freaking destroying life, doing better than you did the previous day and never looking back. And remind me of another quote. What is it? Don't worry about your past. Just keep pushing through, keep fighting through. And there's a reason why the rear view mirror is smaller than the windshield. So just hold on to that. Yeah. Don't look back. You got here for a reason. Don't wish, end of the day when you self-reflect, I could have done this different, whatever. No, do it better tomorrow. Do better than you did the previous day and you'll be fine.
Love it, Josh. Couldn't have said it better myself, man. You're hired. All right, real quick, Josh, wanted to dive into the business itself. Give us a quick view, quick tour, a vision for what you got. I know it's under construction, and show us the outside, where you're located. Let these people know where they can find you when you open up.
Let me go head to the outside, and the light should be on, so we'll see. Maybe you can see it.
Yeah.
Let me show the inside. All right, so this is what it looks like. Pretty bare. Construction hasn't started, but if anyone has had the pleasure of experiencing the services at Sugar, you would see across the country there's consistency in the whole vibe and how everything looks. So when you come in, just briefly, quickly, when you come in, there's going to be a circular table here where you'll be greeted. There'll be a wall full of products, all our proprietary products that will complement the services, the post care, or just depending on what you need. But the estheticians would do some consulting with you, see what products are appropriate for you, and then you could go from there. And right here would be a waiting area. So right here, straight ahead, there's going to be a hallway. So there's going to be 7 rooms, and there's going to be 6 sugaring and facial rooms. So that's where you can get your hair removal, get your eyebrows done, get a facial. The facials are amazing. I'm still on cloud 9 from my first one, and that's part of the reason why I want to introduce Sugar to North Carolina and Charlotte. And one of the rooms back here too will be our spray tan. There'll be, there's the bathroom and utility room. So definitely want to share the progress with everyone, because it's going to look beautiful when you walk in. The whole vibe, you're already at peace, because when you come and you want to spend your money, you want to be pampered. You want it to be a great experience. You don't want to be worrying about, oh, this is going to hurt. When you get a chance, look up sugaring, the benefits sugaring over waxing, or if you want to do a facial, how relaxing. The whole experience from beginning to end is amazing, and I can't wait for you all to experience it. For those of you who are not in the North Carolina, Charlotte area, look for the nearest Sugar near you and just try it, test it out. And a lot of people are shocked, even just the demo alone, how painless it is and how great the services are. But that's it. That's pretty much it. I'm excited to show progress. But yeah, pretty bare bones right now. Construction will start pretty soon, hopefully, knock on wood. But that's what the space looks like.
A true startup savage right here in that startup mode. I love it, because we're going to have some progressive interviews, man. And also, just briefly tell me, what services do you guys offer over there?
So we do sugaring. That's the hair removal. A lot of people may not be familiar. A lot of people might be familiar with waxing. So when you think of waxing, the first thing that comes to mind is the Steve Carell movie. I think the 40-Year-Old Virgin, where he gets his chest waxed and they pull it off, and that's the pain. And that's my experience with it, and what I've experienced with others. It's not, hopefully not that drastic, but it is a little painful. But the benefits with sugaring is you don't have that. It's room temperature. The issue with waxing is, it takes everything. It takes the skin, the hair, everything. You got to go against the grain. It's already painful. Sugaring, you go with the grain, room temperature, doesn't burn, and only removes the dead skin cells and the hair. So we do that. We do the eyebrow services too, the sugar and the hair removal, the body, and facials. We have a whole bunch of facials. If you get a chance, go on the website, mysugarsugar.com. You see a breakdown to see what facial is appropriate for you. We have one that's even customized based on your skin. But whenever you come in, don't want to get overwhelmed. The estheticians will help do a consultation and tell you exactly, based on your skin type, exactly what you need. So don't sweat about, all the facials and stuff. It's very customized. We do spray tans as well. It's all organic, everything, all the products used for our services and what we sell for retail are all organic, vegan, and cruelty-free. That's part of the reason why, I wanted to introduce Sugar to North Carolina, because it's very health conscious and inclusive. And all the products that we sell too, we sell some products to help with like post-care, the services. It's wonderful. It's hard to explain. I feel like I'm not doing justice. Once you come in, do a demo, experience a sample here too. That's it. You're locked in. But that's pretty much it, our services. So the sugaring, the hair removal, spray tans, facials, the brow services, which kind of falls under sugaring, and then our products for retail.
Man, well broken down. I feel like
Thanks.
when you want to look beautiful, you got to go to this place. Because, Josh, I got to be honest, you look great. You could be anywhere from 45 to 25. I don't know.
No,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's great. And that's the whole thing. But It's
Oh,
just
there
the
you go.
passion. I'm very passionate about it because especially when you're taking such a leap of faith, you have to try the products. You have to experience the services. And once I did that, I was sold and I couldn't wait. And of course, meeting the founders and seeing everything behind the scenes, I fell in love. But the products and services and how, going back to what I mentioned earlier, what you put on your skin is just as important as what you consume. It's a game changer. And you look great, you feel great, and you just got to try it. It's amazing. I can't praise it enough.
Hey, sounds like I gotta make a trip to North Carolina.
Yeah,
Huh?
man.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. Well, listen, I tell you what, man, appreciate your time. Thanks for dropping some golden nuggets, some knowledge on us. And, you're so motivated. I love it. Very inspirational. I love your
Appreciate it.
story. And I'm here to remind you, man, you are a savage, brother. You're going to accomplish great things. This is just the beginning. You're just cracking into it. No matter what comes at you, you're like a ninja. And the bold cojones to be on camera and talk about what you're talking about, man. It's not easy talking about the struggles. So just breaking it down, man. Thank you for everything. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for your time, and super excited for what's to come.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm looking forward to everything ahead, and failure is not an option. That's one of the savage mottos.
There we go. There we go. That's awesome, Josh. So what I'll do is I'll put some links down to your Instagram, wherever people can follow you, find you.
It is Prosperity Crossing. We're north of
Okay.
Charlotte. Perfect, 15 minutes from the city of Charlotte, from Huntersville to Concord. Perfect location. Stop by. Whoever's watching this who's local. Follow the Instagram, follow the link, and stay tuned. And definitely encourage you all to sign up for our grand opening list. There's a link on the Instagram for it. You'll get access to any special promotions that we're doing, and plus just progress too. Because I'm pumped. If you couldn't tell from this interview, my passion. Just wait till we get closer to opening day. I'm gonna talk to everybody, and don't hesitate to say hello. I love talking. If you haven't noticed, and hopefully I haven't been rambling, but I'm just so excited for everyone to try it. It's gonna be unbelievable. It's gonna be a life changer. But thank you, Nick, for putting me on your platform, this exposure, just even the conversation. From when we met, we had a great conversation, and I look forward to many more. And thank you. I'm truly grateful.
Absolutely, Josh. Pleasure's all mine, man. Guys, so tap into that if you're in North Carolina, over there in Charlotte, even the surrounding area. I'm excited to see the growth and excited to see you make it happen, Josh. You're going to do great things, man. We're going to keep this going. We'll probably have a part 2 here coming up soon, too, man. Sounds like we've got a lot more to tap into.
Yeah, man. Let's do it.
All right, brother. Stay savage.